hard act to follow. Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you. We welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Cleveland. Whether you are here in person or attending online, thank you for being here. My name is Linda Coulter. My pronouns are she, her, and I am a worship associate at this congregation. For those of you who are new today, I'll take a moment to tell you about us. We gather on the original lands of the Erie, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe peoples, also known as the Three Fires Council. We recognize that we need to learn more about the complex and often painful history of the place we live, to care for the land we inhabit, and to show respect to the diverse peoples and cultures who preceded us, as well as those who gather here now. Because of this, our congregation is developing a relationship with the Lake Erie Native American Council. Our congregation is a member of the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations, and as a Unitarian Universalist, or UU congregation, we are a non-creedal community. This means that we do not require anyone to subscribe to a specific set of beliefs to be a member of the congregation. Instead, we live by a covenant that encourages ethical behaviors, affirms democracy, celebrates the worth of each individual, and unites us in a search for meaning and in reverence for the great mystery that is life. We are a welcoming congregation which affirms all persons who choose to participate in the life or activities of our community, regardless of color, national origin, gender identity, sexual orientation, age, physical or mental abilities, or economic status. If you would like to learn more about us, please take a moment to fill out the gray pamphlet that's in the pew rack in front of you. Place that in the collection basket that's going to be passed later this morning. Someone will contact you to answer your questions and help you feel welcome in our community. You may also visit our website, uucleveland.org, and send us an email from there. As we enter sacred space, please silence any audible cell phones, alarms, and other devices to avoid distractions during the service. It's now time for our chalice lighting, and I'm going to welcome Finn and his Aunt Holly as our chalice lighters this morning. You'll recognize Holly from our choir, and Finn wanted me to know that his most favorite thing in the world is science. Nice. Our chalice lighting this morning is by Adam Slate, and it's called Honoring Our Common Connection and Our Uniqueness. Let's join our voices together as we read the words found in the order of service. We gathered this morning as one community, a community united by common ideals: love, justice, diversity, freedom, mutual care, equity. Yet look around. Look at the faces of those around you. Each face represents an individual. Every one of us, with our own story, needs strengths and faults. We light our chalice today, honoring our common connection and also the uniqueness that lives within each of us.
There we go. I had trouble finding the on switch. Who knew that it would be so tough? Good morning. I'm the Reverend Randy Partain. My pronouns are they, them, and I am delighted to be with you on this rainy morning for worship, whether you are here in person or joining us online. It is a good morning to be together. Later, in a little less than an hour, we're going to sing a song. And I was looking over the words this morning, and I thought, what a wonderful way for us to recognize why we are here together at the beginning of our worship. Because we are not our own, writes Brian Wren. We are human leaves growing on nature's vine, the fruit of many generations, seeds of life divine gathered here together. And we are not alone, because we gather here in a tradition of people from many generations, with people who are gathering in many different places this morning or about to gather. And we show one another who we are and how we find our place in larger community. And so with gratitude, may we make this a place, a house of welcome, not because of the building where we are, but because of our ability to be living stones upon living stone, showing one another and the people around us that we do not exist for ourselves alone, but for a larger vision of wholeness. I would say shalom, justice, for our lives, for our communities, and for the world around us. So in that spirit of vision, may we enter into worship together today. We're going to begin with a different song, which is number 347 in the gray hymnal, Gather the Spirit. Before we sing together, though, I invite you to take a moment and welcome those around you. And maybe today you say, thank you for being a living stone of this place. We have been trying a few different things regarding how we share our joys and concerns, and I know that several of you have taken advantage of the centering music before the service to place a stone in the water to represent any joys or concerns that you're carrying with you today. As always, if you're with us online, you can put any joys or concerns you want the congregation to know about in the comments below the video. We also have a couple of things in the book today that people have asked us to remember. One is that we mourn the loss of former UU Society member Jerry Rask. Jerry had moved to the Pacific Northwest to be close to her children and grandchild after the passing of her husband Tom, and Jerry brought joy and kindness to the world, and she is missed. So a stone of grief and remembrance, and also, I would say, joyful remembrance of Jerry Rask. We also send love to Tatiana Nagorsky, a young adult from the CER Summer Institute community. She lost her beloved parents, Jenny and Leo, within 1 month of each other. And so a stone of love for Tatiana, and also for the joyful memories of the Nagorskys from the summer institutes that they attended at Kenyon and Oberlin colleges. We place a stone of gratitude for the safe gatherings in protest yesterday, for the many, many, many different communities that had No Kings protests. I heard about a minimal number of violent interactions. I didn't hear about anything that was so big it would make the news, which is a really lovely thing. The justice work and the protests made the news. So that's good. Thank you to all of those who participated. And now I invite you to come forward and place a stone in the water if you have not already, for any joys or concerns you want to acknowledge today. If you've already placed a stone, or if you don't care to come forward today, I invite you to just use this time for reflection, potentially thinking of those people that you hold in your hearts, that you're connected to here, far away. And so I invite you during the music to come forward and place a stone in the water as you would like. Spirit of love and life, thank you for granting us the wisdom to create space for different ways of doing things, for our different preferences to be held in one container, for all of those things that we celebrate and all of those things that we grieve to find their way next to one another, to share space in the same spiritual pool that holds us all. May we hold these joys and concerns and one another in care and compassion as we seek to bring all of our lives into relationship with one another and the values that we share. Amen, and blessed be.
Good morning. My name is Jenny Papp. My pronouns are she and they, and I am the Director of Lifespan Faith Development for this congregation, and it's lovely to see all of you out here on this more typically fall day. I actually haven't named it yet. It's surprising. I've had it a while. This little tree has been growing in its pot for a while now. Someone, me, has cared for it well. I make sure it doesn't get too dry and it gets water. I put it in a sunny window, and I do talk to it and tell it how proud I am of it. The roots are trying to be strong and to reach down, but at some point, the roots in this pot, or the roots don't go beyond the pot. And it is growing beautifully, and it's doing its thing. It's doing what it's meant to do, right? And it understands the mission that it has. Well, it's a little bit like a person who may be growing really strong, trying to understand what its purpose is, that person's purpose is in life, and to be kind of self-aware. But in this case, this might be like a person who's still kind of living just on their own, doing that work, but living on their own. And there's nothing wrong with that. And we do all have our own work to do. But healthy roots, even healthy roots, really want to reach beyond, stretch further, touch other roots, share strength, share soil, share life. So just outside our church, let's see, which way am I facing? Just outside our church, that direction, right, past the playground along the street, we have something special called the Miyawaki Forest. And in case you don't know what it is or haven't wondered why there was a clump of land surrounded by a fence with some plants growing out of it, that's what it is. It's a Miyawaki forest. A Miyawaki forest is plants native to the area. So native plants share in their love of this environment. The kind of dirt we have here, the weather that we have here, the amount of rainfall we get, or the lack of rainfall that we get, whatever it might be. But that is what they are doing. So they're planted very densely in a Miyawaki forest, all squished together. If you were a forest, all of you were trees. I'm noticing this is a very densely planted side of the forest, and this is a very tightly packed piece of forest on this side. I was just noticing it today. So if you were a forest and you were a tree, can you stand up and be a tree? Anyone who would like to be a tree? I need trees. Nissa, you're a tree. Good tree. Nina, you're a good tree. Trees. So a Miyawaki forest, all the plants and trees grow close together. So let's be a Miyawaki forest. Get really close together. close together, close together. Some of them are just ground cover, too. It's important that you have ground cover as well, not just trees. And you squish together, and you squish together, and you help protect each other. You help create shade for the ground cover. And when the wind blows, you can help each other. Can you blow? Like when the wind blows, you help each other stay strong and not get knocked over. And every plant uses different nutrients from the soil and gives nutrients back into the soil. And so the Miyawaki forest grows all together like that. I am sure there are a lot more sciencey things around that, and you can look those up, Miyawaki. No one tree grows alone, though, in that. And the interesting part is when those plants' roots find each other, and they do want to find each other, something beautiful happens. The roots themselves share not only nutrients, but they communicate with one another. They talk to one another. They create a network that helps each other understand when there might be something dangerous, whether it be an insect or a disease. And then they all try and adapt together to work towards making sure that the community of forests that they have created stays strong. So this pretty little plant, when the wind blows, if I could blow strong enough, it might fall. But it certainly, if this kept up for a long enough time, it probably wouldn't like it. That is not what it's used to, and there's no protection for it. It would have to weather that storm all alone. And this particular plant would prefer to be in Mexico, not here. This is not a native plant, okay? But those trees that move together, where's my trees moving together? They move together, and they move together, and they hold each other strong with their roots. Well, that's what it means to be part of a covenantal community. Each of us brings our own gifts, our own weaknesses, our own knowledge of self, our own attempts to grow into what we want to be, what is in our nature to be. But we also have compassion now in our covenantal community because none of us are the same. We all have different strengths and weaknesses, and we all bring different things, and we're all at different points of our self-awareness of what it is we grow and want to be. And we are compassionate for one another in that. And we offer this community of roots to hold one another strong. And we remind one another that whomever we are, that we have inherent worth and dignity, and that we are a welcome part of the forest. And we can create together a forest that can thrive without someone constantly talking to it and watering it and making sure that it's all the things. That's a lot of work for me right there. Nick, would you like to come up? Nick has just a little bit, is going to help me with a little bit of a blessing to finish up our time here. I should turn it on.
We grow stronger when we grow together. Our roots are love, our branches are compassion.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing this time with us today, all of us. Grow strong, little trees, and ground cover.
Each week, UUCC shares a portion of our collection plate with organizations that reflect our mission and values. Organizations like AMI. Founded in 2019, AMI is the only local nonprofit with an emphasis on assisting asylum seekers. Because asylum seekers have a long wait between when they apply for asylum and can legally work, AMI provides assistance with housing, rent, moving expenses, utilities, food, clothing, medical expenses, furniture, household supplies, mental health counseling, legal representation, and more. The organization increasingly needs money to obtain legal advice because pro bono lawyers have reached capacity. And a new dimension of AMI's work is supporting families whose chief breadwinner who has been taken by ICE, leaving usually a mother and children behind. My neighbor Rachel was honored to become a member of the steering committee of Northeast Ohio Friends of Immigrants, which is a project of AMI. She shared an example of her work. A family of 4 arrived about 2.5 years ago from Angola. They had to flee because the father was targeted and attacked for being a leader in a political party fighting corruption in the government. Rachel and another volunteer assisted the family as they made their home here and found jobs. This included helping them learn about our community and what it has to offer, making sure they had legal support they need from Catholic charities, finding and furnishing an apartment, buying a car and keeping it in working order, getting them clothes they need to survive Cleveland's winters, getting medical care and food, and enrolling the children in a CHUH preschool. The mother is an expert seamstress, so AMI helped her set up with equipment she needed to take on sewing jobs in addition to her job in a restaurant. Though the parents are fluent in 4 languages, English is not one of them. So Rachel and the family communicate through Google Translate. Rachel says her involvement with AMI has been very enriching and rewarding, and she's grateful for the opportunity to make a difference and has gained wonderful friends as well. If you would like to volunteer like Rachel, please visit the AMI website where you can get in touch with their awesome volunteer coordinator, Jenny Caffin. Now, I ask that you please give responsibly and as you are able to financially support AMI's work. Place your offering, cash or check, made payable to UUCC in the plate as it is passed. You may also contribute electronically. Our preferred electronic platform is Zelle. You can donate through donate@uuccleveland.org, or you can also still use Cash App contributions to $UUCC44122. Indicate in the memo or line if your contribution is for today's plate, your annual pledge, or something else.
I've been a traveler on a lonesome road. Its winding has drawn me away, so far from home. I turn my footsteps and hurry on, but still at the end of the day, I am so alone. So love, come take me home, show me the way. I've wandered for too long. Love, come take me home.
Is working? Okay. Let's start again. Jesus said to his disciples, I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts away every branch of mine that doesn't produce fruit, but he trims clean every branch that does produce fruit, so that it will produce even more fruit. You are already clean because of what I have said to you. Stay joined to me, and I will stay joined to you. Just as a branch cannot produce fruit unless it stays joined to the vine, you cannot produce fruit unless you stay joined to me. I am the vine, and you are the branches. If you stay joined to me and I stay joined to you, then you will produce lots of fruit. But you cannot do anything without me. If you don't stay joined to me, you'll be thrown away. You will be dry, like dry branches that are gathered up and burned in a fire. Stay joined to me and let my teachings become part of you. Then you can pray for whatever you want, and your prayer will be answered. When you become fruitful disciples of mine, my Father will be honored. I have loved you just as my Father has loved me. So remain faithful to my love for you. If you obey me, I will keep loving you, just as my Father keeps loving me, because I have obeyed him. I have told you this to make you as completely happy as I am. Now I tell you to love each other as I have loved you. The greatest way to show love for friends is to die for them. And you are my friends, if you obey me. Servants don't know what their master is doing, so I don't speak to you as my servants. I speak to you as my friends. And I have told you everything my Father has told me. You did not choose me, I chose you and sent you out to produce fruit, the kind of fruit that will last. Then my Father will give you whatever you ask for in my name. So I command you to love each other.
The closer I move to the bell, the more I can hear it still ringing. I try to wait till it stops ringing. There's a lot in that you may push back against that particular passage from John. I invite you to tuck it away for a moment. We'll come back to it. Because somebody earlier said that what they love most of all is science. And I learned some sciencey things that I want to share first. Did you know that the hearts of different people pulse together when they spend time doing things with one another? Or the pulses of a horse and its rider become entrained. They start pulsing in synchronization with one another. Stephen Harold Buhner says, entrainment can be found in something as simple as our hearts. When our hearts start forming, there are all kinds of different cells, but one of those types of cells is called a pacemaker cell. It's a natural part of our heart that is what makes our heart beat. And Stephen Buhner says the pacemaker cells, as they come into being during the self-organization of the heart, they begin to pulse. And every new cell that forms begins oscillating or pulsing with the previous ones. So a pacemaker cell is related to all of the other pacemaker cells that have formed. If you take a pacemaker cell away from the heart, then it starts beating wildly. It doesn't have anything to synchronize with. But as soon as you bring a healthy placemaker cell near it, they don't even have to touch. The first cell will synchronize with a healthy pacemaker cell. Each oscillating cell generates an electromagnetic field around it, and any new cell entering that field will begin to synchronize with its oscillations. This results in a giant self-organizing grouping of pacemaker cells. The heart then becomes a large electromagnetic generator that produces a field 5,000 times larger than the brain's electromagnetic field. And as you get close to another person, you can feel that. It's what we call getting in one another's space. As we spend time together, our fields synchronize. That's what Stephen Buhner says at first. That's pretty amazing. There's another term, differentiation of self. That comes from family systems theory. And it refers to an individual who is able to clearly define their beliefs and their values and convictions, and to live into those beliefs and values and convictions with integrity, even in moments of anxiety. A person who is self-differentiated can live with integrity to their beliefs and values and convictions while also staying deeply connected to other people who hold differing beliefs and values and convictions. Don't you wish you knew a person like that? When we talk about differentiation of self, we're talking about how to be a complete self with our own thoughts and feelings and beliefs and values and opinions and desires and goals and wants and choices and preferences and ways of doing things, while also being closely connected to other people that we love and care about who are very different than we are. To be differentiated is to be a distinct person while remaining connected in relationship. And the more differentiated a person is, the more they can be fully present in relationships without expecting other people to be different or to change. Highly differentiated individuals don't need other people to like them or accept them or approve of them. Differentiation is about being less reactive and more intentional. It's about taking less responsibility for how other fully functioning adults feel. In other words, I get to be completely me, and you get to be completely you. We stay true to our authentic identities and roles while remaining connected to the whole. So there's a difference between telling people what I think and telling people what they should think. Defining ourselves means we can consistently and calmly communicate what we think and feel without demanding that other people think and feel the same way. The tricky thing is, as mammals, we are wired for co-regulation, which means the way that you show up affects me, and the way I show up affects you. That's just part of being mammals. We synchronize like pacemaker cells. So can we take responsibility for how we show up with awareness that we influence other people in all of our co-regulating relationships? Because if we don't take responsibility for how we influence one another, we wind up with what's called fusion. Fusion is the opposite of differentiation. Fusion is when I pretend to be something other than my true self because I think it'll make another person accept me or give me what I want. Fusion is about trying to change other people to become who I am or who I want them to be. Fusion is when we tell another capable adult what they should or shouldn't do, or when we worry about what other people think or how other adults feel. When my behavior is less about my own life-affirming values and more about other people's behavior and feelings, that's fusion. Most people exist in a state of fusion with other people or with larger groups. We allow something outside of ourselves to define who we are or who we should be. Sometimes we act like we have authority to determine who other people should be. Fused people have less choice. But it's natural for us to be fused to some extent with the people who are close to us or with groups that identify with things that we value. It's natural for us to feel that sense of deep connection. So I invite you to take a moment and look at the picture on the cover of your order of service. You might notice that the different colors there are fused. They're blended and mixed. It would be impossible to just take one color out without breaking the whole piece of art. It's become one piece. It's not multiple pieces. You either get the whole thing or you get a broken thing. That's fusion. Another thing you can do if you're wanting to do a physical thing to think about differentiation, you can put your arms out in front of you and notice that both of your hands are separated from each other but still connected to your body. So you can make a fist with your right hand and hold your left hand with the palm face up, and they can do different things and still be connected to your body. That's differentiated. Your hands are differentiated. But if you put your fingers together like this and intertwine them, if you move one hand, the other hand moves with it. If you move one arm, the other arm moves with it. They are fused. You can't do one thing without the other following along. They can't be differentiated until we separate the fingers. So this is fusion, and this is differentiation, in case you're a more physical, somatic kind of person. When we're differentiated, we function more freely. When we're fused to another person, what they do defines us. When we're fused internally, sometimes we can't separate our life-affirming values from the feelings that we have temporarily. So self-differentiation holds the tension between these two life forces of wanting to be an individual and wanting to be connected. Because both of those are very natural drives. That drive to be an individual, autonomous in our thinking and our being and our desires, and the drive toward being together with other human beings. Both of those are natural and sacred, I would say. We express our individuality when we say things like, this is what I think, this is what I feel, this is what I want, this is what I intend to do. And we express our togetherness force when we come together in community, when we want to be in harmony with others, when we receive the care and support from other human beings, when we search for roots and place and belonging, when we search for shared existence and found family or connection with our biological family. That's that togetherness force. And a lot of us learn to go to one extreme or the other. At one extreme, there's pressure to conform with a group of people in order to feel a sense of belonging. We give up some of ourself in order to keep the peace, maybe. We keep our mouths shut and keep our ideas to ourselves because we don't want to upset people. We disconnect from our own feelings and beliefs. We give up our own wisdom and leadership and ultimately choose peace over progress. We depend on other people for our sense of acceptance and belonging. That's one extreme. At the other extreme, in order to feel secure and maintain our individuality, we might demand compliance from other people. We might even engage in bullying behaviors. We're willing to give up community and connection in order to get our way. We treat disagreement as if it is disloyalty. And we end up arguing and debating instead of listening. We take self away from other people so that we can feel powerful and safe. Two extremes. Clearly defining yourself when you're anxious might seem impossible. Some people vacillate between those extremes, bottling up things in order to maintain a sense of belonging and acceptability, and then erupting and demanding compliance because we haven't learned any other way to be well-defined selves in well-connected relationships. But I want to suggest that this is not a continuum with two extremes. Differentiation of self suggests that these are two different lines, two completely different tracks. We can be 100% ourselves and 100% connected with other people in community. We don't have to choose between things on one continuum. These are two different possibilities. We get to determine how much of ourselves we want to be when we show up. We get to determine how connected we want to be with other people. And what this looks like in our community might be, well, we have potlucks often. We have potlucks once a month. We had one last week. And a lot of times we'll have congregational conversations with those potlucks. I understand I missed a really amazing one last week. If we wanted to be on one extreme, we could say, you know what, I don't like potlucks. I hate potlucks. I'm not going to go to this potluck. I'm not going to participate in this conversation. And you have to come and find me if you want me to know what you're talking about, because I'm not going to be there. I'm leaving. That's one extreme. Or we could say, well, I really want to know what this congregational conversation is about, and I want to be with my people, so I guess I have to take all of this food that I really don't want to eat, and I have to sit here and eat it and feel maybe bad about not knowing where this food came from, or I don't know if this has allergens in it. I don't know what's going on with all of this food, but I've got to do it. I have to do this because I want to be with my people. That's another extreme. We could also say, I don't really want to eat any of the food at the potluck, but I really want to be a part of this conversation, so I'm going to get myself a cup of coffee and sit here with my people and be engaged with this conversation. And if somebody asks, hey, aren't you eating? Then I can just say, no, I'm good. I've got my coffee. I've got my people. That would be a more self-differentiated way of being. Or, most of you know, we're about to engage in a capital campaign. We're talking about changing our building and the ways that we want to engage in restructuring our space. And one of the big reasons for that is because as a community, we are rooted in liberating love as a value. And liberating love does not create barriers to access. And as some of you have noticed, our building has some accessibility issues. And so addressing those issues is an expression of our value of liberating love as a community. You may not individually have an issue with stairs, but because you are connected with an entire community, and we envision a future community that we want to be fully accessible because of our values, we express that through the way that we care for our space. It becomes more about our values as individuals and as a community. I know we have lots of personal preferences that have come up. We may want a steeple, we may not want a steeple. My question would be, what does a steeple have to do with liberating love? If that's our value, if that's what's at the root of all that we do, if that's what guides us, does a steeple have anything to do with liberating love? Well, maybe it does. Maybe a steeple to some people says, there's a place where I can go and find community and belonging, because their mental model of church says that's a safe place. And so it becomes an expression of liberating love. Maybe other people have a different impression of church in their mind. And so when they see a steeple, they think, that's a scary place. I don't know if I would be welcome there. I don't know if that's safe for me. It means different things to different people. So our willingness as a community to express liberating love in the world is about how we express that value more than what's on our building. It has more to do with how we portray ourselves in relationship with the community around us. It's about the pulse that we offer people to attune to. That's why self-differentiation is important. Because remember, those pacemaker cells, if there's a healthy pacemaker cell, it sends out this field, and the other cells around it can pulse and synchronize with that healthy field. Are we synchronizing anxiously with the groups and the people in the world around us? Or are we setting the pulse based on our life-affirming values? Because our congregation is a pacemaker cell in the larger world. Our religious tradition is a pacemaker cell. And you are a pacemaker cell. You are the equivalent of a spiritual electromagnetic field by your way of being in the world. If you act with integrity to your life-affirming values while remaining connected to other people, regardless of what those other people are doing or believing, you lower anxiety and increase wholeness. You give people something healthy to entrain to. When you are the embodiment of liberating love in the world, you act as a healthy spiritual pacemaker cell. And as a congregation, we can grow in our self-differentiation as a spiritual community by defining what it means to be part of a religion that centers liberating love. We can embody our life-affirming values with integrity and consistency without demanding that other people do what we're doing. We can be grounded in a vision of shalom, wholeness, and pulse together with that vision. We identify those life-affirming values of ours so that they can guide how we show up as individuals and as a community. So way back in Easter, I don't know how many of you were here for that, but one of the things I suggested this past Easter was that Jesus might be a way rather than a historical person. Maybe for some of our theologies, it works best for us to think of Jesus as a way. When the gospel writer has Jesus saying, "I am the vine and you are the branches," what can that mean for us? Rather than us hearing some of that passage and finding ways to push back against it, what is the value that we might take if we think of Jesus as a way of expressing liberating love? Maybe you see liberating love exemplified in the stories of Jesus. Maybe you see other stories as better examples. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. We are the branches of the vine that is liberating love. If we're cut off from that, we can't bear the fruit that we want in the world. We can't bear fruit that reflects our vision of wholeness for the world without being connected to that vine of liberating love. We can't bear meaningful fruit that reflects our vision of wholeness for our lives or our workplaces or our neighborhoods or our congregation. Liberating love is the vine. You are the branches. Also, this congregation is the vine, and we are the branches. We keep one another connected to the things that we value. All that we do or embody in this world has greater potential when we embrace our interdependence with one another. Your family is the heart, and you are the pacemaker cell. Your workplace is the heart, and you are the pacemaker cell. This congregation is the heart, and you are the pacemaker cell. Set a pulse deeply rooted in our values and not the anxiety of the world around us. Let your doing and being be nourished by the people around you who are setting a healthy pulse, and trust that your doing and being will nourish the people around you who are beating anxiously and erratically. This is our calling. Be good pacemakers. May we be so bold. I invite you to rise, embody your spirit as we sing that song that I promised we would sing, hymn number 317 in the gray hymnal, "We Are Not Our Own." I invite you to rise, embody your spirit as we raise our voices together. We have lots and lots of things going on today, and I'll just run through them real quickly. But we have a Considering Membership set of sessions beginning today in the conference room, which is right there. It's number 215, but the last time I looked, there wasn't a number up on top of the door, but it's really right across the hall over here. Also, our Leadership Development Committee has a session today on engaging our congregation in meaningful ministry. That is going to be in room 201. I know that it was put out on the calendar as a different room, but they're going to be in the senior high room, room 201 at the end of this hall. The youth group are going to meet in 207. So leadership development in room 201, youth group in 207. If you're not doing Considering Membership or leadership development or our other RE stuff, we'll still have coffee. And if you are a member of this congregation that is willing to welcome visitors to our community today, I invite you to take one of the blue mugs. They're distinct and different from the other mugs. And if you're a visitor or a guest here and you're downstairs for coffee and you see somebody with a blue mug, you can interrupt whatever they're talking about and ask them questions and let them know that you want to know things, and they will be happy to stop what they are doing and spend time with you. Next Sunday, we have a ministry fair after the service in the fellowship hall, so if you are still looking for ways to be engaged or you're just curious about what our different groups are doing, you'll be able to find out a little more at the ministry fair next Sunday. If you haven't reserved a table yet for that, you can contact Amy Collins up here, who is here today. Just got a very serious face when I said Amy's name. Or Sharon Edmond, who is up at the live stream, but Sharon Edmond will be in the Considering Membership class with me. You can email Sharon Edmond. Her email is on our website. Last thing, we have a play/discussion happening here, hosted by From Me to We. The play is called The God I Know, and there will be a discussion afterwards. All of this centers around how to relate across the divide of Christian nationalism. And we have a few tickets if financially you want to be there, but you find it challenging to do that. We've got a few tickets available for you. If you just let me know, I can set aside some of those tickets for you. If you want to just buy tickets, you can also do that. I think there's a link in this past week's newsletter. That's happening on Friday evening and Saturday afternoon this coming weekend. I'm sure there's more happening. Please do look at your calendar and see all of the amazing things that you can be involved with here. And whatever you are doing, please carry with you, our values of justice and equity, of pluralism and generosity, transformation and interdependence, as reflections of that vine of liberating love to which we are connected and from which we draw nourishment and strength. Be good pacemaker cells in your lives. Go with peace and courage.
Let us join our voices together as we extinguish our chalice. The words are found on the yellow pew card in front of you. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
I've got another thing for you to say together, I hope. I'll start, and then if you just answer back, be the change you want to see in the world. Be the voice you want to hear in the world. Be the light you want to shine in the world. Those are all the lyrics for the song we're about to sing. So if you would like to join in, then please be the change you want to see in the world, be the voice you want to hear in the world, be the light you want to shine in the world. Say it, sing it, live it.